So this is the still life that I worked on today. And ever since I really started painting, I would set up still lifes and change the color around objects. And I think it's a really interesting thing to show you how much color will change. Oh, take a look. Just take a look at the yellows, the violets that pink turns into, because it is a cool pink, and the darker blues onto that. And look at the colors on the pear itself. The pinks, the warmth that comes from below. Now watch what happens. What if I just switch them? Change a color. Look. Trying to get that a little bit of shadow in there. So what happens now? So what happens to the pear when I put that other color underneath? It gets cooler on the bottom, right? And then there's some reflected light over here that's I see really brighter yellow greens. And then look at the green there, that's blue. It's very blue-green. What happens if I do this, if I just put all cool, all warm around it? Wow, that pear really, really, really changes, doesn't it? Trying to get some shadow on there. Really changes, and the shadow, I'm not sure what I have to do here because I'm backwards. Okay. The shadow that is still violet, but it's a really warm red violet. This is interesting to me because I see blue in that, and I'm not sure why. I mean, it is a complementary color. I see yellow greens up here, but the change in the pear is phenomenal. It is really, really orange. If you could see the back of it, it's glowing orange. So one thing you have to remember whenever you're looking at an object, that objects are always affected by whatever color surrounds them. Every color is affected by a color next to it. So think about that in your painting itself and whatever it is you're looking at. Hi, we're back again. I want to show you some ways just to apply some of the techniques that we talked about. And you can't see it right now, but I'll show you later. I have a little still life set up over there, which I don't even usually use as still life for a demo, but I'm home and I can. So I wanted to show you some just kind of quick techniques that I can use and you can use to create a nice little painting. And I mean, the techniques I've already showed you, but let's have some fun with it. So I have a little still life set up with a pear, and I love pears. I mean, I love to paint pears. I think mostly because it's a very kind of feminine form. And if you know me, most of my work is about being about women, about the feminine. Let's put it like that. It's more about the feminine than anything else. Remember I said that angled brush is great for creating a line? Look at that. Pretty nice, huh? So I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to come down to the color I have on the bottom. I think I might just kind of block out that pear a little bit with a wet brush where I want to place it. And that's something, you know, removing paint is sometimes just as important in how you remove it as it is too. So there's my pear taken out, and I'm just gonna kind of get it blocked in there, and I can fix it later and make it all perfect, but I'm just going to block it in there. My pear. And the other color that I have. So far I haven't drawn anything, right? I'm just kind of, if I was drawing, I'd be using a brush kind of like that, a pointed brush. And the other color that I have, of course, is that gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous pink that I love so much. One time I had a leather coat that I made that were those colors with like 12-inch fringe coming from the arms. I like my fashion. Very fun to paint with a still life. And like I said, I don't usually do that for my painting demos, but it seemed like it was the right thing to do today. Just use that to pull this. Do I have a small? This will do. The other great brush for straight lines is a flat. So I am going to pull that pink up into there. So basically, that's my painting. That's my underpainting. And oftentimes I will put a color underneath, and I can show you how I might do that. Oops. I might put one solid color underneath. I paint really fast though, so anymore it's not as important. But, and certainly when you've been painting as long as I have, your dexterity becomes pretty good, although I think I'm losing some of it at this point, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. So I'm looking over my shoulder the other way to look at my pear, and God, I love that color so much. I'm just dying to get in there. So let me find I got a lot of brushes. You can see how many brushes I am used to using in a. And if it's a big painting like the one over here, I can get into 60 or 70 brushes to do what I want to do. I'm going to take some of that right now because I just have to. And I want some of that in it. God, that's a bright orange. Let's see what happens. Oh, it gives you, oh, look at that color. That's beautiful. That's a really nice thing to have right here. And I had another green gold. I don't know where I put it. Get it in there. So what am I doing? What am I using there? Red and green. What does that do? Complementary colors. I'll put a little teeny bit of white so I get some more opacity, or some Naples yellow in there. That'll give me more opacity. And I'm seeing a core shadow in there that I kind of like. Dare I mix all those together? Dare I? I think I dare. So experimenting with color is really, really, really important. And that's why I say that you have to learn to play with the paint. Because you don't learn. I think the most that I ever learned about painting, color, was painting out of doors. Because the light is constantly changing. You never get a fixed light when you're painting outdoors. And it's constantly changing. So you have to be on your toes, really on your toes, to get what you're looking for when you paint out of doors. There, I kind of have what my values kind of blocked in there a little bit for my pear. I'm gonna go here again. Some of that pink into there. So you can see I use that filbert brush really a lot. It's the shape of it, I think, that makes it so versatile. Okay, I want to take some, oh, I don't have any more of that because it dried. Where is my, so you got to keep your palette sprayed when you're working in acrylic, so I can pick some of that back up again. And I am gonna be brave and kind of take these colors that seem like they don't really work, but they will. It's a phthalo green. I don't really feel like I need a lot of different greens, because you can make so many different greens with the yellows. So I basically work primarily with, I want that drier, so I'm going to go over here. Look at that. When I'm in the studio, that's on the wall. I cleaned my brush on the wall for scumbling. Now I'm missing that I didn't put that color underneath, because it really, really enhances. But I kind of forgot, so we'll go with what we have. I'm going to leave a little of that white edge because I see something up there that I want to. And then usually I have that beautiful turquoisey blue, but my tube is really dried out. Cobalt teal. I don't know if I can get any more out of there or not. And what I could do is, the scissors won't. When it's almost gone, why not, you know? Ah, there we go. Now we have some paint. My practices are not exactly by the book, but oh, see, look at that color though. I'm going to get it with, where's my palette knife? So this is a really opaque turquoise, which you're never going to get with the phthalo, because phthalo is so transparent. But this is a great color So mixing paint directly on is what happened there? What is that? That's weird. The paint didn't stick. Maybe there's something oily there. We'll see. Is something that the Impressionists did. And when you work that way, it is called, it just slipped my mind as we were doing this. Painting takes precedence, I guess. So watch this. I want to show you a little glazing now. So look at that yummy kind of turquoise there. So how do I get it to look to be the shadow of that? So I might take some more of that pink and maybe just a tad of ultramarine. God, dioxazine violet takes over everything. When you apply it into anything, it just takes over completely. And I am just going to glaze that on so you can see I'm using a lot of medium so that I can still see that turquoisey underneath. Well, not really the turquoise, but the marks. I love to see some of the marks that are the early marks in a painting. I like that green coming through there. What do you think of that? I like it. It really gets yellower. So I want to see what I can do here to get that brighter. Oh, there we go. Okay. And the same thing happens with that pink as it really warms. It's very cool on this side, and as it goes towards the light, it gets warmer. So I'm going to use that with a little of that Naples. See what I get. I don't want to kill it, however. There's kind of this really cool shadowy thing happening here. And I didn't look at the time, so maybe we should take a little break and I will progress a little bit on this and we'll come back. I spattered that into there and then just wiped away what wasn't, where I didn't want spatter. When everything else was dry, which is really a fun thing to do, I think. I've gotta fix that right there. I'm gonna let it really get dry though. I'm gonna work on a shadow up there, which that gets a very beautiful violet with ultramarine in it. Ooh, very dark. So, you know, the one thing that I really do know about painting is I want you to always remember whatever you're doing, it's not brain surgery. So mistakes will happen. And what do you think you do about it? You paint over them. That's it. You just paint over them. That's how painting works. Because there's no real rules. I mean, there's things that we think about following and there's techniques that we learn to use, but there's really no absolutes in painting anymore, that's for sure. I mean, there used to be when, you know, during the Renaissance and when there were definite ways and things you were supposed to follow. I'm seeing this really great thing right here. In that shadow, which is like a reflection from And then I want to show you some more glazing. So I used this. I'm running out of space. I'm going to have to clean my palette, so I'll show you how that works too. I'm just going to use that. And lots of that. Can't find anywhere that isn't. Because there's this beautiful pink that comes down through there. And then one little more. I think I'm gonna pull some yellow down through that. And I see some yellow green through here. So obviously this can go on for a very, very long time, the refining of a painting. And I'm not gonna take your time to do all of that. Unless you applaud, but I can't hear you, so it doesn't matter. I'm just kidding. And I'm running out of space on my palette. Isn't painting great though? I'll tell you. I can't think of a better way to spend my life. I don't know about you. That's how it feels for me. That little cast shadow. And I am seeing this kind of very, very, very hot. Do you love that bright green that showed up there? It's so pretty right in there. This is really very, very bright here. And you really need a smaller brush. I'll work on this painting a little bit more because I think it's pretty. And I'll talk to you in class very soon. Okay. Thank you all.